Liberal system didn't care. Trump saved the little girl. On the cold, gray streets of New York, most people often didn't notice the suffering of a child. Everyone was lost in their own lives and hustle, while children and homeless people on the streets were ignored. A little girl, with nothing but an old coat tightly wrapped around her and a torn hat on her head, was fighting every day to survive. One day, this little girl found herself right in the middle of a crowd where Donald Trump's limousine passed by. While the rich ate their meals in luxurious restaurants just steps away, this little girl fought hunger and cold on the street. Every day there was a life of luxury just a few steps away, but nothing had changed for the children on the streets. One day Donald Trump was walking down the city streets. Unlike everyone else who passed by without a glance, Trump noticed this little girl. Her eyes, frozen in the cold, but still sparkling with a will to survive, caught his attention. In that moment, he thought about how the great promises of the liberal system and the reality of the streets were in such a stark contrast. The slogans of equality, freedom, and justice seemed to mean nothing when it came to children like her. Trump, feeling deeply moved, approached the little girl and asked gently but firmly, "Little lady, what are you doing here?" The girl looked up and focused her eyes on Trump. Fear was still visible in her voice, but there was also something else. "I'm cold and I'm hungry," she said, but her eyes were saying something deeper. She had realized that the system was ignoring her. Trump felt her situation deeply. While everyone turned away and walked by, he was the only one who noticed her. At that moment, he thought about how the promises of the liberal system failed to provide for people like this child. The system promised equality, freedom, and justice, but this child's reality was untouched by those empty slogans. Trump gently but firmly picked her up and spoke to her. "Children like you going hungry on the streets is a clear sign of how badly our system is working. This is not justice, little lady." There was a brief silence. The girl, her eyes filled with unshed tears, looked at Trump and asked an unexpected question. "If we are all equal, why do some people live on the streets while others live in skyscrapers?" Trump paused for a moment, the weight of the question hitting him hard. The girl's words were deeply significant. In that moment, the inequality and injustice of the world were laid bare. Trump took a deep breath and answered her question. "Because they choose not to see. They have eyes, but they don't want to see. I see you, little lady. We need to stand against this system." At that moment, the crowd around them began to fall silent. The continuous equality and freedom slogans from the media, elites, and liberals didn't hide the harsh truth in the girl's eyes. Trump saw her. That was the difference. The little girl, still looking up at Trump, asked another profound question. Why do rich people always feel more powerful and valuable? Don't they see us? Trump, taken aback by her cold and deep question, realized even more the true cost of a system that values some over others. In that moment, Trump's eyes were filled with a desire for change. He gently patted the girl's head and said, "True leaders don't just see themselves, they see others too. We need to build a world where everyone is equal. On this street, together with you, we are taking the first steps toward making those freedom and justice slogans more than just words." The little girl still held a glimmer of hope in her eyes. So did Trump. That was the beginning of a desire for change. At that moment, the equality slogans of the liberal system rang hollow. True leaders don't just talk about it, they show it through their actions. Because true justice is to see the real issues right in front of you,